We now speak almost exactly on the 10th anniversary of US invasion to Iraq. I know you were arrested for vandalism after you spray painted the anarchist symbol on one of the governmental buildings, protesting against the war and economic inequality, as you then said. So do you think these two are US's main problems at this point?
We can't maintain ourselves. You know, the United States has military bases in 125, 130 countries right now worldwide. And it's really, you know, it's not about, you know, government, and it's not about military. It's about keeping the spread of capitalism. It's about keeping the spread of American democracy, which means our corporations go and exploit, you know, as many people as we can. They keep talking about, oh, you know, so many people are getting out of poverty, but in fact, the statistics show that the gap between the richest and the poorest has never been worse than it is now, even in the feudal age.
The country is starting wars. It's sending drones to one country and bombing another one.
We're an empire. we're trying to, like I said, we're trying to spread, you know, American capitalism, you know, American democracy throughout the world, to let the free trade of money and, you know, our businesses and corporations infiltrate other countries and have new markets opening up all over the world. Getting back to your question, you know, I think it's all part of a master plan. I just think it's, you know, these, you know, we, you know, Kazakhstan and some of these other countries that have terrible dictatorship regimes and that are terrible to their people and jail their people, and you know, we send them arms. We spend more in or we sell more in arms than any other country in the world by far. I think they said 78% of the world's military supplies, armaments, missiles, defense systems come from the United States. In the world, we're selling it because that's money for, and who gets that money?
It's like George Collins said, it's our hobby. I mean,
yeah.
We are very good at that, wars.
It's about the money, and people, and it's frustrating because people are just ignorant. They keep us entertained with other things while the real world, what's really going on in the world, is happening all around us, and we're just blind to it.
America is supporting forces affiliated with Al-Qaeda and other terrorist organizations, but at the same time spending millions of dollars fighting against terror. And at the end of the day, we see 9/11 happening in America. So where is the logic here?
It really makes perfect logic. We made them the enemy. We made them that they were out to get our homeland, they were out to get us. And the United States really is doing that right now. You see an intolerance now for anyone of, you know, Muslim background or anyone that even looks like they're from the Middle East.
I don't think you believe that personally, but will anybody be held responsible for all those mistakes, all those policies?
No, because who is responsible? You know, it's, I remember this famous saying back in the, you know, these people's getting their businesses foreclosed and taken away, and everything they worked for their entire lives, and their farms foreclosed. And they're asking, well, who do we fight? Who do we blame? Because the people were locking the doors on them, and the police were coming, and they wanted to fight the police. And the police said, it's not us. We're just doing our job. And the people go, well, who do we fight? Who are we going to protest? Who are we going to go march down and stomp on their door? And they go, it's just the way it is. You know, we always blame the government, and of course they are to blame, but you know, they're working, it's not a conspiracy. They're working for the corporations, they're working for the banks. And I believe Obama.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what Obama's second and last term will bring? Do you expect major change?
No, I think he showed his true colors the first term. You know, I was actually giving a speech to some socialists on the eve of his election, and people were literally crying that, oh my gosh, we have a black man in America, someone who's going to bring social change, someone who's talking about change, someone who's not going to be caught in the system and be another cog that just does the will of the, you know, the corporations and the banks. This person's going to stand up.
So expectations were very high.
Man, I said, no, he's part of the system. He might have a good heart, and who am I to judge? You know, I'm only judging on his actions and what he's done. And he's made, you know, he's going to close Guantanamo base. He was going to, you know, end the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And obviously Iraq, we still have our defense contractors there, and we basically have the oil secure. So maybe the major conflicts are over, but we're now in Afghanistan. We've got drones in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and now they're talking about drones going over the United States, you know, to surveil his own people. So it's really a police state. It's really George Orwell's 1984. It's happening in front of us.
Sad, huh? Isn't it? And surreal at the same
Scary.
time.
It's really
scary.
surreal. It's the perfect word. It's surreal. It's unimaginable. But as you, like you said, we talked about, as you scare people into they're out to get us, this is for your own protection. You know, they make us, you know, scared of one another, scared of what our neighbors doing, scared of, you know, the people that moved in down the street and what they're up to.
Are you disappointed with what Occupy movement managed, or rather failed, to achieve?
For the first time, it showed that people can come together, people of all walks of life. You know, there were doctors in there were unemployed people, there were teachers, there were students, there's, you know, all kind of blue collar, white collar workers in there saying, yeah, we are, you know, the 99%, and we are, you know, we're being exploited.
But Jeff, it may have the opposite effect. I mean, it took years for people to feel this unity, to get together, and now they have nothing. They achieved almost nothing, and they are even maybe more frustrated and more disappointed. No,
I think it planted a seed of solidarity within, and I think now that that's sprouting, and maybe right now it needs to be watered and it needs to be fed, but it's there. And before, I don't think it was there.
Will it resurface?
It has to resurface, and unfortunately, the climate that's going to make it resurface is the middle class being squeezed out even more in the United States, or another, you know, bank failure or something like this. People are being squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and when they can't be squeezed anymore, then they're going to fight back. And I think it's going to spread. Look at what happened in Egypt and you know, Libya and stuff. Never in my lifetime did I expect that could happen under those dictatorships, but it spread like wildfire. And
or you think American spring is possible?
I do think so. I do think so. Not in my lifetime, but
Ah.
I said that about those other countries too. So we'll see.
So I wanted to ask you what's needed to bring about social change. But what I understood is that more pressure is needed and more crises. Right? Is that correct?
We have to educate ourselves into something taking its place that's going to work for the people. Otherwise, you're just going to have a power vacuum.
I see some anarchist tattoos. What does it mean to be an anarchist? In practical terms, I mean.
Being an anarchist actually gives me hope. It gives me hope that there's something better, and it gives me something to work for. You know, someone asked me yesterday in an interview, they go, what is your worst case scenario in your life? What would you fear the most? And I think it would be dying without thinking that I've made a cause, or I've contributed enough to something that I know is true. We know that killing someone is wrong. You know, we know that helping someone that is in need is good. We know these are like absolutes.